Well, hello there. I'm Camille, otherwise known as Cosmic Cannibal, and this is the Cosmic Cannibal podcast, your weekly report of all things astrology, from zodiac signs and planets to transits and horoscopes. And speaking of transits and horoscopes, I've got your horoscope for the transits of this week, which happens to be December 11th. I gasp mostly because I'm very much in awe of the fact that it's December, and it's not just December 1st, it's like December 11th, and we're midway through the last month of 2023, and where the hell did 2023 go, and what have I done with my life? Which you might be feeling similarly, and you might also be feeling maybe a little anxious or weary or, I don't know, tired of astrology. Maybe you're just anxious and weary of, a transit we're going to be talking about in this episode and the transits that are going to be happening for another 12 months. But, let's just focus on this week and take it one day at a time, shall we? So, as we enjoy this last leg of Sagittarius season, because we are in Sagittarius season, and we find ourselves further enmeshed in the holiday season, it would appear, at least at first glance, that the cosmos is kind of giving us a break. With only 4 transits happening this week, 2 of which are exceedingly constructive, the week of December 11 is good until it gets kind of wobbly and messy, which you can absolutely handle, especially when you know that by this time next week, I'll be saying a different story. It's not going to be wobbly and messy. I mean, as messy and wobbly as it might be this week. So you start off with positivity, with clarity, and really a grounded expression of your desires in your relationships. Monday, in particular, is a great day to quote-unquote spread the word and quote-unquote spread the love, knowing that if and when you infuse your messages with sincerity, authenticity, and a little bit of honey, they are better received overall. Because who doesn't like a sweet message as opposed to a mean message? Very few people. Now on Tuesday, there's fresh opportunity in the air, and you might be knee-deep in the gift-giving mood, or you might just be feeling extra expansive and inspired. By Wednesday, however, things take a turn. It's not a deep turn, it's not a sharp 90-degree turn, but it is, a bit of a pivot. It's no surprise now, so I'll just tell you, it's Mercury stationing retrograde in Capricorn, which thus starts a 3 or so week-long phase of muddled thinking, shifting plans, messaging mistakes, and, sometimes a little bit of chaos. The good news, your mental fog and communication mistakes reach their peak, at least for this week, on Saturday. The not so good news, your fiery ideals and your dreamiest daydreams are quite literally squaring off, which may cause some unwelcome frustration, some confusion, maybe a little restlessness, which if you are a Sagittarius, a Gemini, a Pisces, or Virgo, Sun, or Rising, then this is going to impact you especially strongly. So you'll feel that energy a little more than most. Everybody's going to feel it, but So that is the gist of this week and who it is impacting most. The astrology of the week of December 11th through December 17th is as follows. December 11th, Mercury in Capricorn sextiles Venus in Scorpio. December 12th, we have the Sagittarius new moon. December 13th, Mercury stations retrograde. And December 16th, the Sun in Sagittarius squares Neptune in Pisces. So, Let's talk about this week's openers and closers, because I want to talk a little bit more about Mercury retrograde and the Sagittarius new moon. So let's get these first and last transits covered. With Mercury sextile Venus, there's lots of talk about relationships, about pleasure, about gifts, it is the holidays, and money, as both Capricorn and Scorpio are obsessed with money. Mercury is the planet of communication, if you're unfamiliar, and Venus is the planet of love, beauty, relating, and the earning and saving of money, which around this time of year usually means spending money on gifts for your loved ones. It's easier on this day, on Monday, December 11th, to get your point across to your partner, to your significant other, to your workmates, and vice versa, regardless of the point. So if ever there was a day to have a logical, pragmatic, but nonetheless deep conversation about love, about money, or even about a business idea, it's Monday. So if you are a Capricorn, if you're a Virgo, Cancer, Pisces, Taurus, or Scorpio, Sun, or rising, then this transit feels especially good. You feel like spreading the love and, pouring honey into your tea as you give the cup of tea to your friends. That made more sense as a metaphor in my head. Now, don't get me wrong, this transit will feel good for everyone, but it's especially good for those signs because it's involving earth and water, and if you are an earth or water sign, it's just going to feel particularly beneficial. With Sun square Neptune on December 16th, mistakes are likely. And that is especially true because Mercury will be retrograde on this day. But as it relates to Sun and Neptune, Neptune really likes to cast a fog of confusion and delusion and self-doubt and fantasy to just about everything it touches. So when it tensely interacts with the Sun in Sagittarius, as it will do on December 16th, Sagittarius is all about freedom of self-expression and high-flying goals and not being pinned down, and Neptune is like, yeah, but how are you gonna do all that? So there's a clash between what's possible and what's impossible. Decision making might be difficult, and objectivity and realism, those might be a tad difficult to summon as well. And that's because both Pisces and Sagittarius are natural escapists, they're natural storytellers, they're natural, BSers, because it's a lot more fun to kind of make stuff up than it is to live in grounded reality. So that makes this transit 100 times easier to get swallowed up by an idea, or worse, by the dreaded if only, which, you get caught up wondering, if only this would work, or if only I could do this. The quote-unquote this in this instance is either your loftiest ambitions, your dizziest daydreams, or just the thing you really, really want, but are 100% unclear about how to obtain, achieve, or follow through with it. Sun square Neptune can make you equally as creative as you are confused. So, to remedy or perhaps even prevent the frustrated confusion, try doing something creative with your friends or your family, or just by yourself. You might give yourself the day to get lost in a fantasy movie or a book or a fun, sort of no pressure art project. Anything that lets your mind wander, letting your mind and your attention wander instead of forcing it to focus can be very therapeutic on this day. Again, if you are a Sagittarius, a Gemini, a Pisces, or a Virgo, Sun or rising, this transit's definitely affecting you more strongly than, say, Capricorn or Taurus. Okay, so now, on to the big focuses of the week. Sagittarius new moon and Mercury retrograde. So as we open the week with constructive conversations about love and money. The Sagittarius new moon on December 12th, which happens at 4:32 p.m. Mountain Time, to be exact, sees your attention, hopes, and feelings soaring upwards and beyond. And since Mars in Sagittarius conjuncts the new moon, the North Node in Aries closely trines this new moon, and Neptune in Pisces closely squares this new moon, it's a bit of a wily one. Now, if you have no idea what I was just talking about then, like if you're like, huh, what? Trines? What are you talking about? Is this geometry class? Don't worry. These are just conversations between the planets. So one of which the conjunction enhances, it kind of exacerbates, it agitates a little bit because it's involving Mars. The trine with the North Node in Aries is more beneficial and easy, and then the square is sort of like a butting of heads. Your curiosity, a thirst for new horizons, be they goals, new tastes, like a new restaurant, new clothes, or even a new location, it's too intense to ignore on the Sagittarius new moon. Possibility and potentiality fizzle and crackle with this new moon. And with this conjunction from Mars, the almost square from Neptune, and the trine from the North Node, which is the point of eclipses, and it's the point of sort of insatiable hunger and growth and opportunity and leveling up. All of that only works to amp up this new moon's already boundless appetite for more, which it has the potential to make you feel kind of restless, maybe a little scattered, or just a little distractible. Like there's a lot that you want to do, and there's a lot that you're thinking about, and there's maybe just a lot that you're planning, and it kind of just is swirling around, and it's like, well, what am I supposed to do with all of this? It might just be kind of difficult to pin down any one thing. And that's because Sagittarius loves variety and is always up to try new things. So that is definitely one way to use this moon's energy constructively. You could go to a new restaurant, try a new workout, or read a new genre of book, or a new book by a different author, watch a new movie. You want to aim to do at least one new thing that satisfies your curiosity, something that captures your attention and really keeps your brain and body engaged without leaving all your other need to do projects and goals and to-dos by the wayside. Because, it is the holiday season and we're wrapping up 2023, and so there's a lot of stuff that most of us probably feel compelled to be focusing on or working on, and we do have to give ourselves a break and let our selves rest, let ourselves indulge, or just take a mini break. Otherwise we just get burnt out, and that's something you definitely want to avoid with Mercury retrograde. So as future-focused and inspired as the Sagittarius new moon makes you feel, Mercury retrograde, it nearly takes all of that inspired zeal away the next day. Not like totally, but reality kind of comes in. And Mercury entered its retrograde phase on November 26th. So if you are like me, then you may have already experienced a few of its effects. Things like glitching apps, glitching websites, glitching phones, washing machines, cars, TV remotes just all of a sudden not working, dates, times, schedules, appointments being mixed up. All of that is about to increase tenfold starting December 13th. And I'm not here to fearmonger. I'm here to just inform. That's just the reality of it. And this is because Mercury rules, among many other things, machinery, numbers, and technology. So those areas of life might feel a little glitchy for these next 3 or so weeks. So will communication, and that includes thinking, planning, scheduling, emailing, texting. You get the idea. It's all of that. Any tangible theories or seemingly unrealistic goals demand your attention during this time. What needs to be reworked? What needs to be reorganized? What needs to be rethought? That's really the guiding force of this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn transit, because Capricorn is the sign of pragmatic, practical thinking. So anything that is impractical, illogical, or blatantly unrealistic, it's going to reveal itself during this cycle. Now, prior to December 13th, you don't have a whole lot of time, but you want to try to organize, strategize, back up any files, and save documents, save the date, save things as much as you can. I would also avoid buying any sort of technological gifts for anyone after December 13th. I know that might be like, well, dang it, I was gonna get my boyfriend an iWatch or Apple Watch or whatever it's called. You might return it because it might not work. That's happened to me in the past. During one Mercury retrograde in Pisces time, my dad fell in a pool and he had his phone on him and it completely ruined his phone. So, just, it's real. You want to remember, though, the 3 R's of Mercury RX. So you want to review, reconsider, and revise. Review any plans you have made and ensure that all the facts, all the figures, all the dates, times, all those details are what you think they are. So for me, it would be looking at a chart reading and making sure that that person's birth date, time, and location is actually what it is. And if it's not, you've got to fix that. You also want to reconsider any commitments you make, like have you scheduled 2 interviews or parties on the same day, that kind of thing. And then be real about whether you can actually attend them. Because sometimes with Mercury and Capricorn, we can be like, oh yeah, I feel so productive. I can do everything. I can make this party at 4 and then that one at 5:30, and it's like, no. You don't have to go to every ugly sweater party or family gathering, especially if the very idea tires you out. So lastly, revise. Revise any current writing or business projects, but avoid launching anything or starting anything brand spanking new. Now, of course, you can start new things, but the likelihood of them seeing the light of day after January 1st is slim to none. And January 1st is when Mercury stations direct in Sagittarius, by the way. So take this time, these next few weeks, to revise your current novel instead of starting a new, brand new fantasy, young adult fiction piece. Mercury retrograde is a period of reflection, a period of refinement, and the occasional, tech and travel and business hiccup, but it doesn't have to ruin your life. So many astrologers make it seem like, and maybe it seems that way in this podcast. That's not the intention. It just is, sometimes during the year things kind of go wrong and you just have to pivot and be as flexible and adaptable as you can. And remember that Mercury retrograde also doesn't have to ruin your creativity, which is what I discuss in my Mercury retrograde magic workshop. In it, you can discover the perks of navigating Mercury's mischief with finesse and transform this retrograde period into a playground for your personal and professional projects. Because, let's face it, thriving during Mercury retrograde is an art. And in this workshop, you become the maestro. Yeah. But enough of that shameless plug. That does wrap up this week's astrology for December 11th through December 17th. Overall, it's just another week. It has a few bumps here and there, but it's nothing you can't handle. Mercury with the sextile to Venus, that's a great day to just have some quality time, a quality conversation with friends or loved ones, maybe someone that you haven't spoken to in a while. They might also come back during this retrograde cycle. That's one of the benefits of Mercury retrograde, is sometimes we just get the opportunity to reconnect with old friends and just hang out again, knowing that, you might not see them for another 3 months, and that's okay, right? The Sagittarius new moon is great for letting your imagination run wild. Make sure you just, get your work done before you do all your play, right? Now, keep in mind that 2024 is just around the corner, and I've got some special things cooking for you. So, on December 13th, I know, oh God, I can't believe I'm saying these words, but I'm releasing being the words, because I just said don't release or launch anything on Mercury retrograde. So maybe it'll be December 12th. I'm doing free 2024 overviews for each of the rising signs. Now, these are 15-minute audio readings. They dive deep into the top transits of 2024 and the major themes, the opportunities, the potential challenges, all of that catered and tailored to each rising sign. So if you are interested in that, I will put the link to that in the transcription or show notes. You can also book a reading with me to explore your potential in 2024 and take a more personal look at how those transits are impacting you. Of course, I appreciate your time with this podcast. It was a little bit longer this episode because I really wanted to give you some good info on Mercury retrograde and that new moon. I hope I did that for you. I wish you the best of luck this week. Again, it's nothing you can't handle. It's just astrology. It's, it is what it is. It's neither good nor bad, and it doesn't have to rule your life. We can work with it, and we can work with it together. So, there's that. Have a wonderful week, and goodbye for now.